Got Your Back Pod Stream is brought to you by Mr. Dirk. From casual wear to suits and formals, Mr. Dirk helps you find the perfect fit with the right look for any occasion. Step up your wardrobe at mrdirk.com.
Five goals against in the third period. That's right. 5 goals against in the third period for the Dallas Stars. They scored. The Oilers gave up 5. We're going to make sense of it tonight. It's myself, Rob Brown, Ryan Rishaug, and Chris Sabunia. We'll take you through this loss, 6-3 loss for the Oilers in Dallas in Game 1 of the playoffs. Show is brought to you by our good friends at Play Alberta, the official gambling partner of all the major Alberta teams. Whoever you cheer for, Play Alberta is cheering you on. Bet on your favorites, get in on odd boosts, and make game time more interesting. Deposit today and get a $50 free bet with code GYB05. Visit playalberta.ca. And I'm sure you can tell right now I'm on my mobile, Adrenaline Diesel Studio. All new 24/7 mobile service truck ready for roadside emergencies, scheduled repairs, and expert diagnostics anytime, anywhere. For service truck emergencies, call 780-907-1965 extension 119. You're winning 3-1, Brownie. You're going into the third period, the first game on the road, a game in which you've not dominated, but done a really good job those first two. Mm-hmm. And then it turns over. I mean, there's lots to break down here, but I guess what's your top thought on, this first game for the Oilers, a loss?
Silly penalties, just silly penalties, stick penalties. It's one thing when you get a penalty, when you drive somebody through the boards, and you know how teams usually kill those ones off. But the stick infractions, you got Kulak in front of the net, gets a stick in the arms, in the hands. That's a penalty. You got Corey Perry 200 feet from his own net, cross-checks the guy across the face. That was as blatant as it could be. And then Evander Kane doesn't have control of his stick and gets his stick up on Duchesne and up under the visor. So the Dallas Stars, we talked about it, our pregame, 5-on-5, they have not had a good playoffs. There are a number of players that have been cold. But the one thing that has got them through is they've had a really good number one line and they've had a fantastic power play. And the Edmonton Oilers just played into the strengths of the Dallas Stars. As you said, it wasn't a domination of the first 40 minutes, but the Oilers were very, very in control. And they took 3 penalties in a great power play unit, scored 3 goals, and then all of a sudden you're chasing.
Crazy. Zuby, the voice of the fan, elation to probably deflation.
Ooh, I like
30
that.
minutes.
I do like that. And they looked so good and so calm and confident and just in control. And even the first PK was marvelous. And the first half of the second PK, the last minute of the second period, was really good too. So it was just such a massive turnabout. Yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking to watch it just slip away after a team that notoriously starts slow started so well and then gave it away. So yeah, it was a tough one.
They looked fresh. They looked ready to go, and they were playing just the way that many of us had hoped they'd play, which was on their toes. And Dallas looked slow. All right, we can't wait longer. Shagar will join us in about 10 minutes time. So let's get to the breakdown now. Brought to you by Alberta Ram dealers. Ram trucks continue to deliver with power, style, and innovation. The 2025 Ram 1500 features a bold new powertrain, a redesigned exterior, and a state-of-the-art technology. Check out the most awarded light-duty truck ever. See a Ram dealer today. Brown, you spoke about it. 4 penalties in particular. 2 by Kulak, 1 by Kane, 1 by Perry. You're looking around the bench. You're like, guys, what are we doing here? These are not, good penalties. As you mentioned, hammering someone into the wall, maybe driving the net. But these are penalties you cannot take. And these weren't rookies. Veteran and Kulak, I'm not sure what Perry qualifies for, but, senior veteran in him. And then Evander Kane, a guy who you want him to play on the edge, but not with those types of sticks. I mean, that I know as a teammate, I'd be disappointed. Like, guys, what the hell are we doing out there right now?
Well, the Oilers had control of the game. In the second period, I can't remember a grade A scoring chance that the Dallas Stars had. The Oilers completely shut them down. They played in the second period like we saw the Oilers play against Vegas to close out the series, how they played against LA when they closed out the series. Professional, smart, just completely in control. And then they take a penalty. And as Zuby said, the first minute 30 of the kill there was fantastic. But then the puck comes back to Heiskanen. The Dallas Stars are putting big bodies in front of Stuart Skinner. They're taking away his eyes. So what you have to do then as a player that's defending, get in the shooting lane. Janmark kind of moves out of the way. I think he's trying to allow Skinner to see it, but it's a shot from the point, wrist shot. That's one that Janmark's got to get in the shooting lane. The Granlund one. Again, I watched Granlund score that exact same goal against the Winnipeg Jets. Exact same. He waited. He had a shooting lane. Someone's in front of the eyes of Skinner, and he shoots. So this is a game that the Oilers had control of, and they took 3 silly penalties and allowed a Dallas team that had nothing going. And the thing that hurts you on this, Struddy, is not only do you lose the game, but you gave belief to a team that after 40 minutes really had no belief in their game. And you also gave belief to a bunch of players who have really struggled in the playoffs. Duchesne's first goal of the playoffs. Heiskanen coming back from injury, first goal of the playoffs. Seguin, first goal in a long, long time. So they didn't win on the back of their superstar player Rantanen. They won on the back of a bunch of players who had been struggling. So now all of a sudden, and we saw it with the Oilers late in the season, a bunch of players like the Henriques, the Browns, the Picols, and the Arvidsson get a little taste of some offensive juice, and it carried on. So this was a game that the Oilers let get away, and they also gave a bunch of Dallas Star players some confidence moving forward.
The penalties were not good. You cannot take those penalties. And then you get into the PK, and you outlined it really well. And that first one by Heiskanen, you teach it at the youngest ages. You don't line up with the body of the shooter. You line up with the stick of the shooter. And it wasn't 1, 2, but 3 Oilers players were screening Stu Skinner. They were screening them. He couldn't, there's no way he was going to see that. Now, could he have fought to get over to the right and guessed it was there? Yeah, I guess you can call that. But one of them should have lined up with his stick. And I'll put it on Janmark, the guy at the tip of the spear. You're the one who has to line up that stick. As a D-man, you hate it when the guy lines up with your stick because now you know you can't get it through, or you have to alter your shot or move your feet. So that one was really, really, really tough goal for me because I thought it kind of kicked off the party for the Stars and got them going. Oh, well, we're back in this. It's 3-2. Let's get rocking here.
Well, and you were a lot braver than I was. When a guy like Bouchard winds up for a one-timer, there'll be players that will pretend they're in the shooting lane, but they'll just be out of the shooting lane a bit. There's lots of players that'll do that, not in a playoff game. But on the goal that Heiskanen scored, it was a wrister. All he's doing, he's like, okay, I can see the net. I'm just going to fire the puck on net. It might hit off somebody. It might hit a rebound, or lo and behold, it goes in the net. So that's one that, you see guys diving in front of Bouchard shots. And if you're driving in front of 100 mile an hour slap shot, then the 50 mile an hour wrister, you got to get in front of. And Janmark moved, the shot gets through. And as you said, in a game that the Dallas Stars had absolutely nothing going for, at that point, probably about 23, 24 minutes of game time, they're on the bench going, oh my goodness, how are we just 1 goal down in this game? I don't know, but we're back in the hockey game. And from then on, they started pushing, and the Edmonton Oilers took a couple other penalties, and the Dallas Stars in that third period were by far the better hockey club.
They went for it. So that's the first. We talked about the Granlund goal and the first 2 power play goals. Then the third goal. I'm not really sure what was going on with Stu Skinner here on this one. The puck goes to the left, goes behind, and it looks like he's looking behind him. And the puck is now moved to his right side, and he's not fighting or battling to get over to that side of the net. I don't know what he felt. Maybe he felt that there's a Dallas Stars player sleeping or not sleeping, laying his crease, Brownie. But I mean, I don't think Stuart Skinner fought hard enough for that save. I'll say it again. he didn't fight hard enough for that save, because I think there was a path to making a save there. And before we'll get to you, Brownie, Zuby, what are your thoughts on that goal? I think he didn't fight hard enough to get across and to get his beak wet in front of that puck that could have been saved, Zuby.
Yeah, you're bang on, Struddy, and he even said, I think they asked him in post, sort of, he put his arms up after the play, and I think he was trying to sell that there was someone on the top of the crease that kind of pushed him left a little bit as he followed the first part. And yeah, I wouldn't say he gave up, but I agree with the way you phrased it. He didn't fight hard enough. He didn't sell out to just get over to that post. He knew the puck was there. It wasn't going to be a reaction save, but he could have positioned better. And even once he kind of got there, it felt like he didn't push all the way over to the post. He just kind of sat in the middle and kind of threw his blocker out to it. So yeah, no, I didn't love that.
Well, on that play too, Struddy, there was contact. It was early. When the puck went to the one side, there was contact, and that may have, he actually had to adjust or readjust, and he did. So at that point, it no longer can you challenge it because the contact was over. He was able to get reset. But when he went back the other way, and this goes, he talked about it in his evaluate or his talk after that with the media. He said that after he kind of got knocked, he was in desperation mode. But what you're saying, and I agree, there wasn't enough of the desperation mode, because if you watch the play, Hintz looked like he was going to have a wide open net, and then he fell. And then Duchesne shot the puck, and it hit Hintz and came back. Then Duchesne shot the puck again. So it wasn't a bang-bang play. If it's a bang-bang play, well, Skinner fell, trying to get set, the puck's in, he didn't have any chance. But the guy that was trying to shoot it fell. The guy that scored shot it once, came back to him, shot it again. So there was time at that point to continue to get across. And I think that's if you're going to find fault, that to me was the goal tonight that he probably would want back, or his fans watching. That would be the one questionable goal. And again, having said all of that, Duchesne got 2 shots on it. And there was no pestering. There was no stick on him. There was no body taking him away. He stood there twice and got his own rebound and fired the puck in without any sort of worry that he's about to get bowled over by anyone on the Edmonton Oilers defense.
Yeah, and I stand by my comments. He didn't fight hard enough for that save. And as a demon, I look back and be like, buddy, you need to help us out. Yeah, we maybe didn't play it perfectly well, and you're right about Duchesne getting 2 cracks at it. But this wasn't a miracle save. It was a half-step push across, or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
So not ideal. Let's get into our digital sound box, brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Weiss Johnson's proud to host their annual golf tournament in support of the Edmonton Down Syndrome Society on June 3rd. Is coming right up at the beautiful Rancho Golf and Country Club. They'd love to see you there. There's just a few spots left, so all the proceeds will go directly to support the Society's efforts to meet the evolving needs of the Down syndrome community. To purchase your tickets, email info@weiss-johnson.com. And just a few spots left. Email them quickly to get into your spots, and you'll have a good time with them and for a great cause. Okay, let's hear from Jingle. How did I miss that jingle? I was so focused here, Zuby. Thank you for getting in there.
No worries. I got a lot going on here because we got Shogger here too. Let's get to the sound, and I'll try to get to a shot that has all of you guys in it.
Okay, here's Stuart Skinner post-game about the action around his crease.
Yeah, it's always something that you got to fight through. It's, it's just competitiveness. Obviously they're competing to get goals, get guys around the net, make my life a lot harder, and I just got to fight through that. I got to battle them as much as battling for sight of the puck, and that's what makes the game tough. It's hard. It's not supposed to be easy. So an opportunity for me to get better at that, get better at traffic play, get better at that competitiveness, and work my way through it.
Shogger just joined us now, everybody. Welcome, Shogger. We just talked about that. We talked about the penalties. We've talked about the penalty kill or lack thereof. And we've just talked specifically about the third goal, Duchesne's goal. And I said that Skinner didn't compete hard enough to get across to that post to seal off. That was a savable puck. Your thoughts on any of that?
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. We just got done talking to Skinner, guys, and like Stu knows, he knows he needs to battle harder for some of those. On the one, he was kind of peeking up over the left shoulder and says he should have been looking right faster, and he wasn't. And sorry, I got to throw my seatbelt down here. I'm in an Uber. And so he didn't battle hard enough on that one. And then the one I really didn't like, guys, I didn't like the one where he got distracted. He looked over at the official while the play was still going on, and then didn't get over hard enough. I don't know if he thought he was interfered with or what, but like there's a play going on all around you. And he looks over at the official and wastes time and then doesn't get across. He's in scramble mode. He talked a little bit about that one too. So there was lots that went wrong tonight. Stuart Skinner was certainly part of it. He wasn't focused enough. I don't think he battled hard enough. And I think as he reviews those goals, there's definitely going to be some there that he didn't love. But at the same time, my goodness, those penalties. Like Corey Perry cannot take that penalty in front of the net. Evander Kane, I'm sorry. I know some people thought that Duchesne sold it. The stick got right up into the face. You cannot take that penalty at that point in time, when the wheels are coming off on the penalty kill. So Skinner for sure, guys, but the discipline from veteran players, as Leon Draisaitl said, they got to be more mature than that.
Yeah, let's go back into the digital inbox and hear Leon Draisaitl post-game about that or lack of maturity.
Well, I mean, we give up 3 goals in a row on the kill. It just kills the momentum, and then you're chasing the game. The game changes from there. So we got to be an awful lot more mature than that.
That's a Weiss Johnson inbox, and for sure, guys. And listen, the thing that I think surprises me is that the Oilers were in perfect shape heading into that third period. Things had gone well. There was nothing I was going to say. This wasn't it. And all of a sudden it just turns, and this group needs to be able to dial that in, understand those moments. And some numerous individuals. This isn't just one person. This is a number of individuals that let it go. Brownie got away from them.
Yeah. I mean, Schauger mentioned, it's veteran players making big mistakes. Corey Perry's smarter than that. He knows that you can't do that. That's something you might do when you're up or down 6-1. That's not something you do in a 1-goal game in the third period of the semifinals of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Evander Kane, and that was a penalty. That was 100% a penalty. He got the stick right into the mouth of Duchesne, right in front of the referee. You can't take those kind of penalties. Your penalty killing has not been good all playoffs. And the one thing before this game, all we talked about on our show was you've got to be disciplined against the Stars. They're not scoring 5-on-5, but their power play has got them to the third round. And the Oilers fell into a huge trap there by allowing the Stars on the power play and then giving confidence to a bunch of players who haven't scored all playoff long. So it would be weird, Strudge. You've been there before, and I know I have, where after the second period, the Oilers are sitting in the dressing room feeling pretty good about themselves. We are this game is in the bag. We are controlling it. We're giving up nothing. This is the way we have to play. And they're talking about things like that. And guaranteed, whether it was the coach or a leader would have said, okay, stay out of the box. Whatever we do in this third period, stay out of the box. The next time they were in the dressing room was after they got outscored 5-0 in a period that they were plus 10 in the playoffs. So it shows you do not have to be perfect in the playoffs because no team is. But you certainly have to be in the positive in all facets of your game. And tonight, the Oilers' penalty killing and the Oilers' discipline let them down against a Dallas Star team that the Oilers should be leading 1-0 in this series.
Struds, was there a timeout to be called in there, do you think, guys? I mean, some of us were chatting about it, even just to say, smarten up, stop taking penalties to dial the guys in. We know Knobloch hangs on to those things like he gets a bonus at the end of the year, but should there have been one there? I'm not sure. What do you guys think?
I'm not sure, Brownie. I'm not sure I've ever seen a coach having to call the timeout because their penalty kill can't stop anything. Like I'm sure it's happened, but can you imagine? Okay, this is just for the PKers. Well, actually, for the few people taking penalties and for the PKers, stop taking penalties, and you guys start making, start stopping them. Like I hear what you're saying, Schauger, and I just don't know if it's ever happened, Brownie. I don't remember that ever happening on any team I was on.
I agree, and it happened so quickly. I mean, the time you would call is when you fall behind 4-3, but at that point, now you need to save it because you may need to keep Connor and Leon out for the last 3.5 minutes of the hockey game. So now you need to have it in your back pocket. But then it's funny, at the end of the second period, we're talking on air, what's going to happen in the third period? Well, the team that's trailing, Dallas, is going to have to force some plays. They're going to have to jump up in the play. And this is where you're going to take advantage of that, and you're going to get some odd man breaks. Well, because the Stars scored the 3 power play goals, it was the Oilers that had to do that. And that's where the game insurance winning or goal by Seguin happened, is Bouchard stepped up when he shouldn't have. The Oilers didn't have back pressure, and Seguin scores a really, really pretty goal. So everything that could go wrong. And I don't know, you were there, Schauger, but watching the third period, in the first 2 periods, especially the second, the Dallas Stars looked like they were under duress the entire period. Every pass was off. They were losing races. Every time they tried to get the puck out of the zone, they would hit a ref, they'd hit a player, they'd hit their own player. And in the third period, the team, the Oilers, that could do no wrong in the third period, they're the ones where their D-men were turning the puck over, losing foot races. Looking disheveled, like Wallman, Klingberg, Bouchard, all of a sudden did not look calm or collected at all. And they look like they were under stress. And that's something that we haven't seen from the Oilers defense, to me, in a number of games.
Shog, any comments on that?
Yeah, no, I think it's really good points. It's interesting to me that they went from so composed and playing so well and lots of things going right. I mean, did you see the minutes after the first period? All the D basically had the same number of minutes played. Like, they were rolling everybody. Stetcher looked great, and everybody was playing well. And even into the second period, like, the formula was there, and they were rolling the lines. I think part of what also happened, guys, is that because they had to start the third period on a kill, right? Goal, bang. Okay, so now you go McDavid and Draisaitl together out of a kill, right? Then you take a penalty, bang, goal. Now you're McDavid and Draisaitl out of that kill as well. They did not come close to getting to their 4-line flow in that third period. He had the lines scrambled from the beginning, and there was really no effort made to get back to it because it was so choppy. They completely got out of their flow, and I thought the line changes contributed to that a little bit, guys.
No, 100%. And that's, everything just broke down. It just all broke down, but it all starts with the choice and penalties that they took. Mm-hmm. That's because without those penalties, you're not running to those problems. You think about it earlier, the Oilers killed that one penalty, Leon Connor come out, bang, goal, right? So that's how it's supposed to work. And then you get your lines going again, right? It was messy. Okay, we've talked about what has happened into that point, but I want to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what didn't happen after they killed those, or after they got scored on, why they couldn't get it back on track. So before we do that, let's get to our Relentless Player, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services, an Edmonton charity that is relentless in providing possibility for the youth in our community. Mental health is the foundation for growth and success, and the key to thriving, not just surviving. With 2 in-house counselors providing free therapy sessions, our youth have support while they navigate their struggles and rediscover their strength. Visit ucan.ca to donate today. Brownie, Tyler Seguin, 2 goals and an apple tonight. I didn't really have him as a massive threat offensively in this series, and I was wrong. Well, I think a lot of us were, guys.
It's funny. To me, he was the best player on the ice. He was fantastic. And, the Oilers are in control in the first period, and Leon makes a mistake. Klingberg gets caught flat-footed. Wallman gets caught too far over, and then Seguin gets a breakaway. I didn't realize he was that fast still. I mean, there was nobody that was going to come coach. And I honestly, I can say now is when he hit the blue line, I'm watching it with a buddy, and I go, he's going to score. I mean, you have Tyler Seguin, who is a pure goal scorer. He has that much time, that much space. He's going to bury the puck, and he did. The hands that he scored on the Sam Steele, who turned Wallman inside out. I mean, those are fantastic hands. And then we talk about Perry all the time. Perry might not have the speed he used to have, but he's still got the hands, and that's what Seguin has. And that's just a great tip, knocking the puck back into the net. Seguin also was 10-3 on faceoffs. So he was one of the guys that was really, really quiet for the Dallas Stars through the first 2 rounds. Well, he woke up tonight, and I would imagine, Struds, you have a bunch of veteran players like Seguin and Duchesne and Ben, who may not have been at their best in the first 2 rounds, but they're near the end of their career. They are 4 wins away from going to the Stanley Cup Finals again. There's got to be an itch there. And I think a player like Seguin tonight's like, you know what? I don't know how many more chances I'm going to get at this. And that was I'm going to guess that might have been one of Seguin's best games in the last number of months. He was excellent tonight for the Dallas Stars.
Can I chime in on this real quick, Struds?
Oh yeah, go ahead, buddy. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still kind of here. I came up to the room, so you don't see me on the screen. So I was talking to Matt Duchesne today, and I asked him about Mikko Rantanen, and he was like, "Yep, good player." He immediately started talking about all the other really good players that they have on this team, and guys that have known how to contribute for a long time, and guys that have. These are really good players. They've been stars in this league over a number of years. And so I'm sure they love having Mikko Rantanen here, and I'm sure they love him being here. But a guy like Seguin, a guy like Duchesne, I think there's a little bit of don't forget about us here. And they probably didn't love, to Brownie's point, that they didn't contribute as much as they'd like the last couple rounds. Those guys are gamers and don't want to just make way for Mr. Rantanen. And I think we saw that from Seguin and Duchesne, frankly, tonight. Yeah. I'll hang up and listen.
Thanks for calling. All right, let's do this. Let's pause here on the show. When we come back, we'll get into takeaways. What could the Oilers do to turn this tide? We kind of talked a little bit with Rishaug, but there's a couple things I want to get to. Stay with us and make sure you get your questions in for Ask Us Anything at the end of the show. We'll be right back.
Join over 250,000 Canadians who have upgraded to Canada's best mattress. Douglas is proudly made in Canada and ships directly to your door for free. Douglas is easy to set up. Enjoy perfectly balanced comfort and an easy-to-clean machine washable cover. Get a free sleep bundle with your Douglas mattress. Try risk-free for 365 nights. Get your Douglas mattress today.
If you're considering a vinyl fence, don't be fooled by cheap marketplace imitations. Get top quality vinyl fence from a trusted company with 20 years in the industry. With locations in Calgary and Edmonton, check out dlrvinylproducts.ca.
Choosing the right health and dental coverage can feel overwhelming, but Alberta Blue Cross is here to make it simple. Their user-friendly website features a free quote tool to guide you through choosing your plan, or you can chat directly with one of their specialists for personalized help. Every plan includes access to personal, nutritional, and financial counseling at no extra cost. Visit ab.bluecross.ca/personal to learn more.
Oilers do 6-3, 5 straight goals from the Dallas Stars in the third period, turn a 3-1 deficit into a 6-3 win in the third period. That's a tough one. Let's get to now takeaways brought to you by Horizon Ag and Turf. The key to a great looking property starts with a quality mower. Oh, that's the truth. I've got a killer lawn. Visit your local Horizon Ag and Turf dealership to browse their inventory of John Deere lawn tractors and zero-turn mowers. From 42-inch mower decks all the way to 72-inch decks, you can find the right mower for you at Horizon Ag and Turf. Visit them online at horizonagturf.com to browse their inventory today. All right, guys. I just want to take a step back. Sugar, you can run it from here. I just want to bring up one topic here. I thought to start the game, the Oilers looked fast. They looked really fast. The way they're skating, but guys, more importantly, where they're moving the puck. The shots are, I remember at one point, I think 10 minutes in the game, the shots are 5-4. I'm like, this doesn't feel like a 5-4 shot clock. Like I don't know who's working it. I thought the Oilers were all over them. And so their start, they came out really, really well, even in the first 20 minutes, Brownie.
Well, it's funny. It goes to my point, those starts don't really matter. They got to quit getting a lead in these hockey games. They got to fall behind. They're way better. But it's funny, Struds. I thought the same thing, because at one point I looked and the shots were, I think, 6-6 or 7-6, and I'm like, okay, wait a second. This is not what shots did I miss for Dallas? I'm like, it did not seem it at all. The Oilers were winning races. They were moving the puck. Dallas looked lost out there at times. I mean, the first time that Dallas had any opportunity was the mistake made by Leon at the blue line, and the Seguin breakaway. Up until then, it was like, this is just a mismatch. And when the Oilers were in the offensive zone, the high zone cycles, Dallas had no answer to it. I don't know what changed, other than the Oilers took penalties and got away from, as Rishaug said, their line combinations. But through 40 minutes, it was looking like, well, this looks like a short series. After 40 minutes, you're like, Dallas is not quick enough to play against this Oiler team. Their defense, once you get past their top three, cannot contain. They can't move the puck out. And I'm like, wow. But it's amazing, Rishaug, after a couple silly penalties, how a series can look much different.
For sure. I thought that, I was taking notes for my Sports Center hit after 40 minutes. And one of the things that I had sent in was the Oilers big boys showed up to play. We're not talking about depth players tonight. We're talking about Connor McDavid blitzing all over the place. We're talking about Leon Draisaitl with a hard middle drive and burying one past the goaltender. We're talking about Evan Bouchard, finding the back of the net, Ryan Nugent. Like, we're talking about the first 1 and 1A line of scorers on this Oilers team. This is not going to be about the depth guys. That was, for me, a big part of the story, that the big boys came to play. Draisaitl had his legs, was absolutely pumping the big legs. McDavid was zipping around all over the place. End-to-end rushes, dancing through guys. We saw a few of those. So for me, the formula was there. It was like, that's the way it's supposed to look. And then the penalty kill just absolutely kicked him in the pants, Strud. So I really believe the Oilers have something to build off of from this game. Like, there's lots of tape there, Struds, they can look at and say, okay, well, we did a lot of these things right. There's no revamp that's needed. I think you roll those lines back together and roll them out again and just stick to it this time and not get into the penalty trouble, Struds. But the formula was there.
100%. And I'm glad you guys basically kind of are strengthening the point I was going to make. The Oilers let this one get away from them. This should have been, and probably needed to be, a win. Like, this was a one game by them. For 40 minutes, again, Brownie, we said earlier, they didn't dominate them, but they were in control of the game and or 50-50. And that's through 40 on the road in the first home game. That's a big deal. So, we might look back at this game if things don't go the way the Oilers want and say, okay, this was the game. This is the one that got away from them, guys.
But if you're looking at the flip side, it also gave confidence to a Dallas team. Okay, we faced Connor and Leon at their best, and we came out on top. Our power play, they can't handle our power play. Just keep winning battles. And the one thing, Rishaug, before you got on tonight, there's a lot of things that the Oilers gave away in this game. They gave away the game. They allowed a Dallas power play, which is the strength of their team, win a game for them. But they also brought a bunch of players into the playoffs that haven't been there. Duchesne scores his first goal. Seguin scores the first goal forever. Heiskanen, this is his first goal since coming back from injury. So that Sam Steele. So their depth players who have not been good, they were the ones. That's who won the game for the Dallas Stars. I mean, it wasn't Rantanen. It wasn't Hintz. Granlund had a beautiful goal, but it wasn't on the back of their superstars. It was players who had struggled, came up big for them. I mean, even Marchment, that was a big screen on the goal by Heiskanen. So the Edmonton Oilers, in losing this game the way they did, also opened the door to the Dallas Stars and said, all right, we can be beat. Because after 40 minutes, and I said to Struds, this looked like a very short series for the Edmonton Oilers, because it does not look like the Dallas Stars match up well.
Dallas Scarlet on YouTube here. I'm just getting logged in. We got a really solid stream. We appreciate everybody that's joining us. Dallas Scarlet says, in classic Oiler fashion, we defeated ourselves. First two periods were our best, and we looked dominant. Third period was dog water, and it lost us the game. Dog water, I think. Murky. I don't know what dog water is. Explain yourself there, Dallas. Struds, I think Brownie made a really good point, though. The idea that you had I mean, you had a group of players who had to be split up because they were so ineffective. Guys who've been stars in this league, right? You had a group of players that weren't working as a line. They had to be sort of split up and spread across the lineup. And it wasn't at even strength that those guys were given the opportunity to get back into it. You gave them gifts on the power play, the gift of power play time to go and find your confidence. And so now, I mean, I don't know, Brownie, like you tell me, whether it's a power play goal or an even strength goal, I would assume finding the back of the net for these veteran players, for Seguin to have done that, Duchesne to have done that, they're going to be more confident at even strength too, shift by shift now.
Well, two things. One, we talked about it at length at the end of the season, how the Oilers were going to be a better team in the playoffs because Arvidsson scored, because Henrique scored, because Podkolzin scored. All those guys, when Connor and Leon were out of the lineup and Hyman was out of the lineup, those players were getting gravy time. They're playing minutes they don't normally play. They're getting touches. They were feeling good about themselves. They gained confidence. And going forward, they were better players in the playoffs. They're going to get slotted in where they wanted to, where the coach was going to put them, but they went into it a much more confident group. And you saw that in the first two rounds. The depth players played like they had not played all season long. They were creating and scoring and giving the Edmonton Oilers big goals at big moments. And the other thing too, and I know this from experience, power play bleeds into 5-on-5 and 5-on-5 bleeds into power play. If you have a power play that's scoring or at least creating, it's going to bleed into your 5-on-5 game. So all of a sudden your power play goes, well, we've seen it where Connor and Leon, they're 2 for 3 on the power play. They're also got 3 5-on-5 goals too. And any player is like that. So all of these players for the Dallas Stars, yeah, Duchesne scored on the power play, but he hit the back of the net. When you go home after scoring a goal, it feels different than when you go home -1 and your team lost. So all of those stars that scored tonight for Dallas are going to feel pretty good coming to the rink tomorrow. Don't have to answer questions why I haven't scored in 12 games, why I've got 1 goal in 30 games. I look at the score sheet now. I scored last night. I had 2 and 1 last night. And as Struddy talked about with Tyler Seguin, he was 2-1 and 3 on the night, +2. And he was also 10 and 3 in the face-off dot.
Yeah.
So they were feeling it as the game went on. And that's why the Dallas Stars are a little more dangerous now than they were after the second period, because they're a confident group.
Yeah, after the second period, Duchesne's line with Robbie Robertson and Wyatt Johnston were -2. They took 2 off the chin. And all of a sudden that changes dramatically. Now, neither one of the wingers scored, but Duchesne scored. So it makes a difference, right? You get them back into it.
Can we talk for just a minute? Let's pretend the penalty kill and the goals against didn't happen. Let's just sort of let's just focus on the even strength first 40 minutes, Struds. And I'm going to ask you, by the way, how they need to defend better on the penalty kill specifically. We'll do that more in core adjustments coming up in a little bit. But Struds, what did you think of the D-core in particular through 40 minutes? The pairings, the way they used them. Like, was it just me or was Darnell Nurse having a game?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? I expected both teams to pressure the D more than they did.
Yeah.
Especially now, maybe it's because Dallas wasn't. They weren't skating. And I said, especially to start, they look slow. But as a D-man, if you're not hearing those footsteps, you have an extra second to make a play, and you make that play. I think, this sounds obvious, but see a play, make a play. Just see that, make it. Just make the play as fast as you can. Get it off your stick, make the play. And I think that that's what I saw from the Oilers D in the first 40, Brownie.
And yeah, you're absolutely right, Schauger. But it was amazing how it flipped in the third, because in the first 40 minutes, every one of them, Klingberg, Wallman, Bouchard, Stetcher, every pass was stick to stick. They never seemed to be under duress. They weren't getting hit because Dallas isn't a physical team. And if they are, the hits they're giving, they're not bone crushing. It's maybe a bump. So they had time and space to make a play. But in the third period, when Dallas started feeling it, all of a sudden there was pressure, and all the players, all the Oilers defense, coughing the puck up, throwing it away, trying to jump to get out of the way of a hit. And all of a sudden, now you're spending time in your own zone. But to answer your first question, Schauger, the first 40 minutes, the Oilers defense did not look like they were under duress at all. They looked like they were confident, and they had no pressure, and they continued to make good play after good play.
I didn't get to hear any of Dallas's postgame. I wonder what their narrative would be on the first 40 minutes. So in other words, should the Oilers expect next game a little bit more of what they saw in the third period at even strength from Dallas, on their toes a little more, forcing them a little bit more? Or, like, does Dallas feel, Struds, like their first 40 minutes was atrocious? And is that just not them? Should the Oilers not expect to have an opponent like they did for the first 40 tonight?
100%. If I was in that Dallas dressing room, I'd say, guys, we stole one tonight and we have a much better game. That's you can't say you didn't manhandle the Oilers for 60 minutes. You beat them, but and you won the game, but you didn't manhandle them. So I think that Dallas will be reminded they come out a lot stronger. But for the Oilers, I think coming out with a good start in game 2 would be huge because they'll remind the Stars that they can beat them 5-on-5.
But if you guys followed any of the last 2 series for Dallas, they won both series, but there were games in those both series where they were absolutely dominated. There was a game in Colorado. I think the shots were like 48-15 in favor of Colorado. Like, there were times that they were just god awful. Yet they found enough to win 4 games in each series. And the one thing that we haven't even talked about tonight yet, it was 3-1 Edmonton after 40. It could have been worse. The great equalizer for the Dallas Stars, and one of the main reasons they beat Winnipeg and certainly Colorado, is Jake Ottinger. I mean, he gave up 3 tonight, but Jake Ottinger made some big saves at big moments in this hockey game to never allow the Dallas Stars to fall behind one more goal. 2 goals, any team in the NHL, and we see it all the time now, any team in the NHL can come back from 2 down. It gets harder when it's 3 because the belief starts to wane. Jake Ottinger gave them the saves that they needed and allowed the Dallas Stars and their power play to find their way.
Great point. And how about the idea that the Dallas Stars power play came to life and they end up winning a game here? But, like, has Mikko Rantanen checked in on the series yet? Because I have a feeling that, that's probably to come at some point here. And it was the other guys that got it done. And at some point, Rantanen's going to put a fingerprint on this thing. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Interesting moving forward. Struds, just a little bit of housekeeping here. Did we get our poll done?
We don't have the poll done. No. You want me to run it through?
Well, let's rip on the poll. Our poll brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. Golf season is here. Dust off the old clubs and get ready for the season. New grips, new driver. Heck, why not a whole new set? DeBoer's Golf has you covered. Locally owned and operated. They have been in business for over 25 years, and they're ready to help you play better golf. Visit them on the corner of 53rd Ave and 99th Street or at DeBoersGolf.com. There's Zuby. How are you doing, buddy?
Oh, just fine, thanks. Good to see you, pal.
You too, my friend.
Our DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll tonight. Who would you inject into the roster for Game 2? The choices we have are Jeff Skinner, Victor Arvidsson, Ty Emberson, or no changes. Press ahead with the group you've got.
There you go. You resisted the temptation to go Olivier Rodrigue.
Yeah,
it would have been ridiculous and a dumb. I'm proud of you,
That's
buddy.
right.
I'm proud of you because we have conversations all the time about should we put the obvious dumb one on there that like a bunch of fans are going to pounce on because they're feeling frustrated. You resisted the temptation. There's no chance for anybody even thinking of it. Absolutely zero chance. Stuart Skinner's going to have to let this thing ride. Cal Pickard is not even skating yet. Cal Pickard's not on the trip, I don't believe. So, yeah, would you make some changes? And stick around for Ask Us Anything. We'll get to the results of that poll brought to you by DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center. When we come back, Brownie Points, Struddy's World. We'll take a lap, core adjustments, Ask Us Anything, play of the day. Tons still ahead here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta. We'll be right back.
Specializing in heavy-duty commercial truck powertrain repair, performance, tuning, and part sales, Adrenaline Diesel's professional team is ready to assist you with all of your needs, from the simplest oil changes to engine conversions, overhauls, and engine modifications. Featuring an all-new online parts store and machine shop to manufacture, replicate, or repair parts, visit adrenalinediesel.ca.
Ready to go all in this season? Mr. Dirk's got you covered with express on-site tailoring, a wide selection of craftsman-made suits, sport coats, and casual staples for every occasion. Score big with Mr. Dirk. We've always got your back. Visit us off White Ave, south of 102nd Street, or browse online at mrdirk.com.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
All right, time now for Brownie Points, brought to you by Hamel's Premium Jerky, the ultimate jerky haul. Hamel's has you covered. 4 pounds of their mouth-watering jerky, $139 plus 5 free jerky-flavored pepperoni sticks with your order. Free shipping Alberta-wide. Whole lot of premium, protein-packed goodness, perfect for road trips, the job site, or being the snack hero at home. Visit albertajerky.com to order. Going to spend a fair amount of time up in Cold Lake this summer and looking forward to stocking up at Hamel's. They got all kinds of great stuff. So by all means, when you're in Cold Lake, stop by the shop. Great family business. We love them. Great partners at Hamel's Premium Jerky. Mr. Brown, have at it, my friend.
All right. I'm going to start with 91 brownie points to Stars star forward, Tyler Seguin, who was the best Dallas Star on the ice tonight. He scored 2 goals, had 3 points, was 10-3 on faceoffs, and was +2 on the night. When you get older, later in your career, and you realize you're only 4 wins away from a chance at going into the finals of the Stanley Cup playoffs, you certainly can sniff it. And I thought Tyler Seguin was fantastic tonight. I have -13. I'm taking 13 brownie points away from the Carolina Hurricanes that lost on home ice last night to the defending champ Florida Panthers. The Hurricanes have now lost 13 straight consecutive conference finals games and are now playing desperate in game 2. Funny thing is that's 13 straight they have lost. They weren't booing in Carolina. They weren't throwing Sebastian Aho's jerseys on the ice. They acted a little different than the Toronto Maple Leafs did in their game 7 loss. Two huge brownie points to the Oilers' 2 superstars. I thought 29 and 97 were both excellent tonight. They were good, but quiet against Vegas. Both were outstanding in this game, combining 4 or 5 points on the night. -4, though, to the Edmonton Oilers' discipline in this game. Before the game, we talked about the keys to the game. Number 1 was don't take penalties. This is a very good power play here in Dallas. 5-on-5, the Oilers had an advantage coming into the series, but the Dallas Stars were the better team on the power play in the playoffs. They gifted the Stars 3 power plays, and that was after the Oilers were up 3-1. You can't do that and win a hockey game. And then because of that, you're going to have to give -75 brownie points to the Oilers penalty killing unit that was touched for 3 goals and allowed the Stars to go 75% on their power play. This game was won. It's this simple. The game was won because of the Dallas Stars power play unit or because of the Edmonton Oilers penalty killing unit. Glass half full, glass empty. And I don't usually do this, but I'm giving out an honorable mention tonight in brownie points. I'm giving 25 brownie points to just about everybody's favorite Edmonton Oiler, Zach Hyman, who with 12 hits tonight has 25 hits in his last 2 hockey games. This is the guy that just over a year ago scored 54 goals. In his last 2 playoff hockey games, he has 25 hits. And they're not little bumps or little rubouts. Every one of his hits, he's jumping and he's laying the body. So an honorable mention tonight for Zachary Hyman. And those
I just don't get it.
Are my brownie points.
I don't get it. Like, that means you don't have the puck ever. So it just must not be. Actually. I don't know. Did they just decide that they didn't need the puck in the playoffs, so they started hitting more? Did they just decide?
Well, I believe my good friend Strud said, Schauger, they're going to hit in the playoffs. Lay off them. I believe Strud said that quite a few times. And you said you just can't flip this on and off. You know who did? Zach Hyman.
Zach Hyman.
I know.
He absolutely did. He absolutely did. It's been a fun thing all year long, and yeah, Hyman is just. I mean, he's a wrecking ball out there. So good on him. Nice addition of Brownie points there. Brownie, good stuff. We're gonna get to Struddy's World in just a minute, but I want to squeeze an extra segment in here because core adjustments. I think we need Brownie to help work through some of this stuff. Let's get to their core adjustments, brought to you by HSE Core Services. So if you're a small to medium-sized business, they got your back when it comes to health and safety compliance. Visit hsecor.com. That is hsecor.com for a tailored health and safety program that meets all legislative and core requirements. Give Tom Lesko a call. He'll get you sorted out if you've got a small business. So no other place to start but the penalty kill, Struds, when it comes to core adjustments. What will Mr. Stewart and company be going over specifically, do you think? It's obvious what Skinner needs to work on. We beat that to death. What about the killers, buddy?
Mm-hmm. So my Struddy's World is going to be about Granlund's goal. So I'm not going to get into that one too much here.
Okay.
I think that their first penalty kill was good. They were skating well. They were trapping. They're anticipating plays, and I think they were jumping. I want to say it was Henrique that jumped into a place and got the puck and took it away. So they got to keep up with that. But if you're going to at times give up point shots, you have to get in the shooting lane. You cannot allow a guy to shoot that. It's not an option. It's not something that feels right. You have to do it. And the guys back there don't exactly have bombs. Even Harley, he scored that nice goal the other night, the one timer, but it was like, that's not going to break you in half, right? It's not as Surrey or Bouchard or Al McKinnon sitting back there dropping bombs. So I think number one is keep the pressure on, because the pressure was good. It looked strong, especially in that first penalty kill, but line up Brownie. And those are very basic details that do make a difference.
We talked about it a lot at the beginning, and the Oilers weren't getting in shooting lanes. And Struds made a really good point earlier where you're lining up not at the body, you're lining up at the stick, the puck. And Janmark was lined up. His body was perfectly between Heiskanen's body and the goaltender, but the stick is about 4 feet away. And so you're not in the shooting lane. And I mean, to me, that was the biggest thing, and Struds just touched on it. So I'm going to touch on a little bit different with the penalty kill. When you get your chance, and Dallas last year was -2 on their power play against the Oilers. For 0 for 14, they gave up 2 shorties. Tonight, on the first power play the Oilers had, they had the 2 best chances. The one was a partial breakaway. Nuge was tired, and he felt he was getting cut off, so he shoots from distance. But the second one, Connor Brown, you have an odd man break, shorthanded.
Oh, yeah.
A shorthanded goal is worth 1.5 goals. It's worth more. It just is. It deflates a team and it boosts a team. Connor Brown has to shoot that puck. Lundell was letting him shoot. It was more or less a breakaway for Connor Brown. And the defense moved right out of the way, said, I'm going to give my goalie the shooter. I'm going to take away the pass. And Connor Brown still passed it. If you have an opportunity shorthanded and your name is not Connor or Leon, shoot the puck. No coach is ever going to get mad at Connor Brown for having a 2-on-1 and shooting the puck. No one, ever. And if the puck gets stopped, Janmark's going forward. He's going to see where the rebound's going. The defender doesn't. Struds will tell you, when you're playing a 2-on-1, you're looking up ice. If the goalie makes a save, you have no idea where it is. So to me, if you're killing a penalty and you're going to get chances, and the Oilers will, because Dallas does give them up, if you have the opportunity to put pucks on net, do not try to make a play unless your name is McDavid or Draisaitl.
I love it.
Make the
Struds.
goalie make a save. Make the goalie make a save. Like, that's it.
Yeah. I love it that we're talking about penalty kill adjustments, and Rob Brown finds a way to turn that into offensive talk, Struts. He just finds a way. And the guy is just wired a certain way, Struddy.
No, and he's so right though, and I remember that play.
He is.
And I'm thinking, why like he's shooting, he's been scoring. You're not have to dangle around a bunch of people. Just shoot it. It's been going in for you, right? So
it's not the penalty. Go ahead, Struts.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Brownie.
So it's not the penalty kill, but later in the game, Kapanen had the same thing. And he tried to spin a ram to give it. Now, the Oilers got lucky and they got a power play out of it. But Kapanen shoot the puck. Like, you try to do a complete 360 and make a pass through a guy to a guy that's covered. Ottinger is a fantastic goaltender. He's one of the best in the world. but you can't let him. He's not going to make give up a bad goal unless you put a puck on him. So again, if your name's Kapanen and you have an odd man break, shoot the puck. No one's going to get mad at you. Sorry, Struz, go ahead.
No, he scored the biggest goal of his NHL career by doing the wax on, wax off in the crease. Like it's not pretty. You're fast, you can skate, you hit, and you shoot the puck, like just straight line. So listen, in a nutshell, I think what the Oilers are going to do, they're going to stay out of the penalty box next time. When they do, they're going to be a little bit crisper on their penalty kill, but just stay with it and be patient and just know who you are. We want to get pucks on Onger, make them make saves. Make them make saves. Even the one, Brownie, I think it was in the first period where Leon shot it purposely off the pad and Podkolzin kind of overcharged it. And you can see him talking on the bench. I don't know if that's what it was about, but Leon's not shooting for the far left pad. Like that's not where he's shooting. But you knew like that was a shoot. That was the play. And he thinks like, hey man, if I'm shooting from that far out, I'm shooting for the pad. You tap in the back door.
Lauren the Alchemist says Tuesday's Struddy's World video title was Oilers Can Defend. The next game, the Oilers allow 6. It was the kiss of death, says Lauren the Alchemist. Yes, be wary of the titles that we choose for these shows and putting a hex on the team. Core adjustments can also be about adjustments that we saw them make. There was one on the power play that I really liked. Subtle adjustment on the slingshot with McDavid. Leon Draisaitl busted up to the blue line and stood stationary. And multiple times they dropped it back to McDavid. As soon as the first guy came to him, he blasted it to Draisaitl, who's so sure-handed. A quick touch pass to McDavid, full speed coming across the line. And it worked a couple of times. I believe it was the entry that ended up leading to the goal. And it worked at least once more later in the game, Brownie. But I like that. A little bit different and something. I can't recall if we've seen that specific play or not. I don't recall it. But another example of them making core adjustments.
And it's funny, and you would have to ask Leon and Connor, but a lot of the adjustments they make themselves. Like I know Evan Bouchard, when he let the cat out of the bag on the one, where Leon said, let's do this off the face-off because this is what I see. So they're reading what the other team is doing. And the thing with Connor and Leon, Schauger, and you guys know it, is they are so good that if you take something away from them, okay, well, that means something else is open. And Leon, you can fire the puck 100 miles an hour at him, and he's going to put it in where exactly Connor needs it. So that was a great play. It's just, all right, this is what they're doing. There's a little bit of a stretch between the defenders at red line and blue line. Connor's coming with speed. Let's get him the puck and just see what they can do against him. So it's almost unfair. Actually, it is unfair how the Oilers can get the puck in every single power play. And we watched the Dallas Stars' first 3 minutes of power play time where they never got set up once. And the Oilers, if you ice it down, 7 seconds later, they are standing in your own zone and they are creating offensive plays. So, but yeah, that is a great adjustment, a great read, Rishaug, because when I saw that, I'm like, oh, looks like Leon and Connor figured out another way that they can beat this Dallas Stars penalty killing unit.
Yeah. Okay, that was Core Adjustments brought to you by HSE Core Services. Time for everybody's favorite cartoon, the Struddy's World intro, Zoobs.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
All right. After the debacle in Struddy's World last show, we're sticking to hockey tonight. Brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. As Alberta's #1 vinyl product supplier, DLR offers top quality materials to build a fence or deck that won't rot, fade, or fall apart. If you need a skilled contractor to take care of the job, or if you prefer the do-it-yourself approach, they can set you up with all that you need. Canadian-owned and operated. They are my brothers, Rick and Rob. Locations in Calgary and Edmonton. Visit them today online at dlrvinylproducts.ca. Go vinyl! Struds, before you get started, any sort of feedback on last Struddy's World? You breaking news that you need to wear shorts in your own steam shower?
I'm not alone. I'll just leave it at that. I don't want to drop names, but I got a lot of nice direct messages or DMs, and I'm not alone. Apparently other people suffer from the same type of not insecurity, but just concern about being naked in their own bathroom.
I think he used the word. That's twice he's used the word insecurity about this, Brownie. I think it's an insecurity.
I'm the very I'm the very definition of average.
Okay, just start the damn segment. Goodness sakes.
Okay, on that note, I want to talk about Granlund's power play goal. When a guy's on the sidewall, especially when he's kind of where Granlund was, you can front the puck, but sometimes goalies don't like that because when you front directly in front of him, now my body's right in the middle of his stick and the net, he maybe can't see around it. Now you might block it, but goalies are concerned. So what some goalies like, and what I think the Oilers D was doing there, his name is escaping me. Oh my God, what's that? How can I not remember his name? Wallman. Sorry, geez, how did I forget that? Wallman, what he has done is that he had stepped a bit on the inside, so he was taking away Granlund's ability to go far side on the shot. So he took away kind of like that half to third of the net to the far side of the net, and Granlund shot it short side, ripped it right over the shoulder of Stuart Skinner short side. Now, I'm not sure if this is what they've had that talk, but I had almost every goalie I ever played for say when they're shooting from there, I don't mind if you don't block it, but just take away the far side of the net and I'll take away the short side. Well, that's what Wallman did, and Skinner wasn't able to go, didn't recognize he was doing, and or maybe too deep, or just didn't play it that way. Whatever the case, there's got to be communication between everyone, because if you're going to let that guy shoot from there, and the guy's not going to take away, the guy being the goalie doesn't take away the short side, then I got to get in the middle right in the middle, so it hits my shin pads. If not, if you choose to go far side, he's got that covered. Now the goalie has to go short side. So I think it was probably miscommunication there between the goalie and the D-man, because that was, to me, too easy a goal to score from there, basically uncontested by both parties, guys.
You know what? I mean, first of all, it was a fantastic shot, and Granlund scored the exact same goal against the Winnipeg Jets. So here's my question to you, Struds. I don't even know if there should be communication there. When Granlund gets the puck there, should both players not already know, okay, Granlund has it, I'm here, Skinner's there. Okay, it goes to Rantanen here or it goes to Heiskanen. There are plays that happen when you're penalty killing that are broken plays. I mean, the goal that Nugent Hopkins scored, broken play. That's just unlucky for the Dallas Stars and very fortunate for the Edmonton Oilers. But there are set plays that, and Granlund had the puck forever there. Should that not be something that, okay, we've seen Granlund here. He did it against the Jets. Here's where he's going to shoot it. It was the exact same spot. Should that not be something that they already know how to defend? Like there shouldn't be a communication?
Yeah, there's a few spots. So how you play a 2-on-1, how you guys exchange the puck between the goalie when he sets up behind the net or passes from behind the net. And then that play there needs to be a plan already. So everyone's doing the same thing. So my wording probably wasn't the best, but the lack of following through on what the plan was. I would be blown away if there's not a plan. Like I never played on a team. We didn't have a plan in that situation. So either one of them got it wrong. One of them got the assignment wrong, right? Because like I said, that's a left-handed shot from right there, and he likes shooting from there. And you're right, you would have pre-scouted that. Maybe you want to step up and take the shot away by getting right in his way. But if I take away the far side, you got to take away the short side. And I remember Henrik Lundqvist saying that all the time. He goes, if I get beat short side, that's my problem because you're taking away the far side. And we line up far side and shrinks the net, and it makes the goalie a lot bigger.
Good point.
I love listening to you two guys talk hockey minutia, man. It's a beautiful thing. I love the detail we dig into because of all these different segments we've got. It's great stuff. Brownie, awesome job tonight, my friend. Look forward to breaking down game number 2 in a couple of days, pal.
Sounds good. Night, everyone.
All right. See you, pal. Buddy. That is Robbie Brown checking out. And that was Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Okay, bear with us, folks. We got one more commercial break, then we got lots more to come. We're going to talk a little bit about that Florida Panthers, Carolina Hurricanes series in our scoreboard segment. Take a lap. We'll talk about some of what's going on around the league, talk some more Oilers, ask us anything and play of the day. So stay with us here on Got Your Back, presented by Play Alberta.
At Gallery Dental, we believe in blending exceptional care with artistry to create the perfect smile for you. From routine cleanings to advanced cosmetic procedures, our team is dedicated to providing top-notch care in a relaxed and comfortable environment. With state-of-the-art technology and a passion for perfection, we ensure that every visit is a positive experience. Join the Gallery Dental family and let us help you achieve a smile that you'll love to show off. Contact us today at secolandentistry.com.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit belvederegcc.com today.
With over 18 years in the industry, Kelly Zaretsky and her team at Blue Summit Accounting deliver client-focused solutions and financial guidance for success in a simple and comfortable way. Whether it's for corporate or personal needs, Blue Summit Accounting can help with taxes, estate planning, financial services, bookkeeping, and more. Get in touch today. Email bluesummitacct@gmail.com or call 780-416-9662.
All right, let's take a look at what else is going on around the league. Brought to you by Canadian Club. The all-new Canadian Club Classic 18-year-old High Proof comes in at 58%, their highest proof CC Classic to date. A full-bodied whiskey with aromas of caramel, toffee, spicy vanilla, and rich oak with a butterscotch finish. Obviously, no other games on the scoreboard tonight, Struds, but a big game set to go tomorrow for the Carolina Hurricanes as they try and draw even in their series against the Florida Panthers. A pretty dominant first performance there from Florida. Struds, do you see a pathway to the Canes getting their arms around this thing after what you saw in the first game?
Yeah, so, as I watched it, Florida capitalized on their opportunities. I didn't think the Canes did. It wasn't like they were drastically outchanced, at least with my eyes. I didn't track it, but you can usually tell someone's getting the ice tilted on as far as good scoring chances again. So there's a path there, I think, for them to continue to try to stay with it. But Bobrovsky, they got to get a couple by Bobrovsky. That's obvious. The problem is that sometimes it's misleading that volume shooting doesn't always equal to volume scoring chances. You know what I mean? It's not, the two aren't always linked. It can help, but they're not always linked. And sometimes I think actually you're wasting shots and it's a turnover more than anything. But I think that I still don't feel that they got massively outchanced. If anything, they were sawed off in it. So, a little bit tighter in their own zone perhaps, but find a way to beat Bobrovsky, especially early.
Did you see the shot on the bench of the Panthers in Game 7 when they were mic'd up against the Leafs? Mm-hmm. Did you hear, I believe it was Tkachuk that was talking a little bit. I think it was Sam Bennett that was talking a little bit, Struds. Did you see where they were sitting there calmly? The game was in the balance, it was over, and they were saying, isn't this just the best, you guys? Is this not just the best? Just enjoy this, man. And then I think maybe Verhaeghe or somebody was like, I wasn't ready to quit playing. I figure I got another month left in us. Hey, guys. They're like, yeah. And they were like, honestly, guys, just enjoy this moment. This Panthers team, right, potentially going to their third Stanley Cup final. Struts. Yeah. I don't know if it's the sun and the golf and the pools, but they they're defying the odds by doing this the way they are in 3 straight years. And they're so chill and zen about it.
Yeah, so I don't want to compare my experience in junior to the NHL, but we won a Memorial Cup my first year there. And I honestly, I didn't really know what the Memorial Cup was. I'd heard about it, and we went out and played in Quebec, and we won it. We ran the table. And I was nervous and excited. I didn't no idea what to expect. I didn't know there was dinners. There was all kinds of stuff. So now you fast forward to the next year. It's being held in Kamloops where I played in junior, and we had basically our same team back, and it was even better. And I knew we were going to win. I knew it, but I had been through it already. I'd experienced everything. I was a year older. We had more experience than every other team in it, and we knew we were going to win it. And in fact, today's the 30th anniversary of us winning the second one. Well, I guess it's 3 and 4, but that was my second one. And we spanked the other team. It was actually Paul Maurice and Pete DeBoer's team, ironically, 8-1.
Yep.
And I chirped one of my buddies who played on that team. And I'm not saying to glorify how great I was or my team was, but we had been through it. We knew it. We knew what was going on. We knew how good you had to be to win. We knew what it took. And this Panthers team, they've been through it now going into their third year. And so they understand the moment. When you're lined up against someone else, you can tell when they're nervous. You can also tell when they're dialed in. And they're a really good team, and they're deep. And got to keep in mind, Tkachuk really hasn't done anything major for a little while here. So yeah, they're going to be tough to beat. Carolina's got to win tomorrow. That goes without saying. But the Panthers know how they can play. The Carolina is wondering if they can get to that level in this game too tomorrow night. And that's a scary feeling.
I was chatting in the press box tonight to 2 different hockey people, and I won't say their names because whatever. Yeah. And we got chatting about that series separately, and both of them made the comment, boy, is that Carolina team tough to watch. That is tough to watch. We've heard about it from the very start, Struds. I mean, as a lover of, I don't know, I mean, you like different types of hockey and such. Do you feel the same? Are you put off by the Canes brand of play?
Yeah, so, the Minnesota Wild used to play a very defensive style, and I didn't like watching them, and I like defensive hockey. And I like defensive hockey when you're stopping other teams from getting chances. What Minnesota used to, and what I think at times Carolina does, they just don't want anything to happen. They want nothing to happen on the ice. Like, they want no event hockey, not low event hockey. And so, yes, it is hard to watch at times, but they're winning. So, what are you going to say? I'm going to give it my best tomorrow to watch this game. I want to, see what they can do. But the Panthers can also play that way, but they also go on the offensive, and they got heavy bodies. So tomorrow's a big one. Massive game for the Canes.
I can't believe the Florida Panthers
I know.
have Aaron Ekblad and Seth Jones, and Seth Jones is playing some of the best hockey of his career. Yeah. Like, how did that happen? That suspension and oh my God, they got Seth Jones and he's woken up and been invigorated again.
Well, think about it. They lost Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Brandon Montour. Montour was really good for them last year. Really good. And so they still have Ekblad, they still have Montour, or not Montour, they have Forsling, but they may have upgraded by bringing in Seth Jones. A different style of D-man, but bigger and heavy. It's there. It's going to be tough. But listen, the Carolina Hurricanes, they do not stop. But I've said this about the Canes for years under Rob the Bod. Can they find another gear? I feel like they play that playoff gear all year long. What's the next gear? Do they have another gear in this third round? We'll find out tomorrow.
How about Ace 96? Ace 96 says Panthers are an excellent team, and then follows that up. Oilers Panthers is going to be awesome. Whoa, Ace 90. Whoa. Yeah. Ace 96. Wow. No Weiss Johnson jingle for you, Ace 96. I might be the we might need to get Ace 96 to change to just Ace for the rest of the show tonight. A punishment there, getting way ahead of himself. Okay, that was our scoreboard, brought to you by Canadian Club Whiskey. Strud, some other goings on around the National Hockey League we should probably take a couple of minutes and chat about. And that is our Taking a Lap segment, brought to you by Acon. So if you need a job, or if you know someone who needs a job, if you're a skilled tradesperson or a construction professional, it's a great company, one of Canada's original industrial contractors, and they're building some of the biggest multi-year projects in Western Canada. So flip your resume to them. They want resumes. Trades@acon.com. That's the first step. Get your resume together and send it to them. Trades@acon.com, and start building what matters today. Should we talk some Leafs? Some Leafs aftermath?
Yeah, so they're still trying to figure this out. We know that the players had their situation, their year-end availabilities. The coach spoke, and it sounds like Shanahan will have his kind of debrief with the powers that be of Toronto tomorrow. That being Thursday, tomorrow being Thursday. But a report surfaced today that Brendan Shanahan was given permission to interview with the Islanders for their position at the top of the food chain, which how does that even happen? So we're going to talk to you Thursday, but you want to talk to Islanders. Okay, we'll let you do that before our meeting on Thursday. I'm not a genius here, Sugar, but I guess if I'm reading the tea leaves, do we kind of know which direction this is going? Now, it should be said, Shannon wouldn't be fired. His contract's up at the end of June. So interesting timeline, the way that shook out.
Yeah, I mean, for the job that Shanahan would be looking at getting, there's not going to be a lot of those out there. They're unique jobs, right? Not necessarily general manager material. It's more that president kind of floating up in the clouds with insulation for a longer period of time because you get to hire and fire 3 general managers before you get touched. There aren't a lot of those jobs out there. So I think part of this, it feels like the writing is on the wall, Struds, but I think with the contract expiring, and a job open in that caliber of job, if the Leafs aren't ready to make a final decision on Shanahan just right this moment, or if there's a negotiation that's potentially there to be had, I think standing in his way of at least having a conversation about this other rare job, I think it's the right thing to do. Just let him have that conversation. Maybe he comes to him and says, yeah, it's going to work out, and it's an easy move on for everybody. So feels like the writing's on the wall, but also felt like the right thing for the Leafs to do. And it feels like a very Islander thing to do, to look at the Leafs and go, we need the guy that ran that thing.
Yeah. And Shanahan, he did do a lot of good things. Like he got that team kind of going the right direction for sure. Now the team didn't get over the top. But I'll ask you this. 4 or 5 years ago, would Shanahan been permitted to have this conversation with Islanders? I have a hard time believing it, right? He was lock solid there. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not sure about that one.
Ross Creek Nasty, real quick, buddy, says Shanaplan led to 9 straight years in the playoffs, the longest active such run.
100%. I think he did a lot of good things. I truly believe that. Now he's a former teammate of mine, but I do think he did a lot of good things and solidified some things on our organization. And just the mix wasn't right or isn't right to win right now. And I don't think they're a good enough team to win, or to beat the Panthers. And, maybe this year, no one might be good enough to beat them. So let's see.
Do you think they'll replace him? Or do you think they'll just let Tree Living does Tree Living need a guy over his head in that position? I don't think it's necessary. Yeah, I think Tree Living just
pretty veteran guy.
Reports to the owner and brings in some.
And then who is it? Pelly? Who is the CEO? Is it Pelly?
Keith Pelly? Yeah. He's the big guy. Yeah.
So he didn't hire Shanahan, he didn't hire someone for that position. He assumed the job of I think he's CEO with Shanahan there. So he may feel that it's not needed, right? He is ultimately I guess owners, but he is ultimately in charge of that. So I'll be interested to see how that plays out. But the timing of all that is really interesting. Mm-hmm. We'll see what comes out over the next 48 hours. Sounds like, according to the fourth period, that Jeff Blashill, the longtime Detroit Red Wings coach, will become the Chicago Blackhawks coach, or it sounds like it's trending in that direction tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. Interesting hire for me. Was with the Wings for a long time, and to hire one of your adversaries' longtime coaches, about 400 or 500 games, who didn't exactly kill it there. Bit of a surprise. I didn't really see him as the front runner for that team that's trying to change a bit. And in some ways, you could say that the Red Wings were a little bit in the same position when Blashill took over that team a number of years ago.
Yeah, I read that too and thought, that's kind of interesting. Is that the right scenario there? Where do you think Jay Woodcroft's going to factor in here at some point in one of these jobs? Boy, there's a lot of, we're hearing his name out there and he's interviewing lots here and there and such. Do you think that this will be the off season, or do you think it's going to be a push for him? Sorry to pull a 180 on you there, but
no, it's fine. And I owe Jay Woodcroft an apology. I honestly thought after after he was removed as coach of the Oilers, he'd have a job ASAP. Like I was thinking within a year, and it's been
really,
we're a year and a half now, right? Basically. And so I was wrong. I was wrong. So there's still some spots available, but I would take Jay over a Blashill, just because he had success. He handled, elite players at the highest end. And I think Jay would have done a lot of self-reflection and improve on himself. Not suggesting Blashill had it, But Jay's a longtime coach. I would give him another chance. And I'm a little biased. I like Jay, but I'm surprised he hasn't got a job yet, to answer your question, Shaggy.
Yeah, interesting. Well,
he might be
a
at the
busy,
point where he has to take, But go ahead. I think he's almost at the point where he might have to take an assistant coaching job somewhere.
Yeah.
Just to stay in the mix here.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that'll be hard for him. I think he spent a long time as an assistant coach
for
in the National Hockey League, and I think it wouldn't surprise me if his sentiment was, been there, done that, and the idea of going back to that phase. I think we'll see him grind this out for a little bit here. It might take a couple. If that's the way it has to be for him, I think it'll take 2 full years of trying to get head jobs. And if it doesn't work out for him, then I can see him maybe being in that headspace. And I haven't talked to him. I have no idea.
Right.
But I just, all that time as an assistant, you'd have to think he's going to exercise every option until all the doors are closed. And then maybe you get in that headspace and try and go even an associate somewhere or something like that. But anyways, we wish him well. The coaching carousel will be interesting to watch this offseason. That was Taking a Lap, brought to you by our friends over at Acon. Zuby, hop on in here, buddy. Wrap up our poll for us, brought to you by De Boer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center.
Yes, let's. The question tonight was, who would you inject into the roster for Game 2? No changes. People are happy with the lineup the way it is, 47%. However, you got Jeff Skinner, 25% of the vote, Victor Arvidsson, 24% of the vote. So you got half there saying one or the other. So the individual winner was no changes. Skinner and Arvidsson very close. Ty Emberson only 3%. And nearly 500 on the stream here tonight. And nearly 500 folks still with us here, or over 500. And maybe we could get a couple more thumbs up and maybe a couple more subs. And we don't like to pander for subs, but we need to get Struddy to wear the elk rack hat. So
how many do we need for that?
A couple hundred. I think we're still a couple hundred away from, we're trying to get to 7,000 here, and we're at 66 something. And let me say to all you all the commenters, because I see it all the time, the commenters post show, like 80 to 90% of them are not subscribed. So we appreciate the comments. And but go ahead and you get a notification that I send out sometimes that we're doing a show, especially on a non-game night. There's all kinds of benefits. Well, there's not. There's that one benefit. But also, you'll never miss a show, and you help us out a little bit. So
Liam W. says, done and done, Zuby. Serto 911 says, pound that like button. Lauren the Alchemist says, I subscribed last week with great joy. Great joy.
Thank you so much.
Subscribe to us. Thank you, Lauren.
Sure.
Kenny
Wonderful.
Sharp says, sub. Okay. Enough of pounded that button hard, says Charmadou. Okay. Enough of this shameless pandering. Oh, by the way, Struds, I will make a prediction on a potential line change that I think we will see. Did you notice the tweak they made in the third? It might have been mid in the second / third period. I think we could see Arvidsson coming back in and capping in on his way out.
Yeah, and I don't think he actually deserved to come out. Right, Arvidsson. He and Podkolzin had been very good in those first 2 games.
Yet Kapanen was a great call to bring in because he was so good. So that's a deep team. You got good players not playing.
Yeah, you got a motivated guy in there. You might see a change. I could go either way. I'm not gonna. You lost the game, but I do think that the guys played. After we could be talking about a 5-1 win here, just as easy. Now we're talking about a 6-3 loss.
Yeah. Should also remind everyone, Connor Brown did not skate for the last couple of days. Was not on the ice for morning skate. So whatever he's definitely nursing something, and I know that probably a few guys are at this point. But the point here, Stephen Petrick says Brown didn't look himself today. So interesting to know where he's at, and if maybe a healthy Arvidsson, maybe they go with someone healthier than someone playing through things. So, and this is the thing, the Oilers are not going to skate tomorrow, so we won't know line combinations tomorrow. They're just going to have meetings and a media availability, and then they'll be on the ice the morning of game number 2. Let's get to Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies. They were founded in 1976, a full-line distributor providing quality wholesale electrical products for use in industrial, commercial, and residential settings. Proudly owned and operated in Edmonton. Visit bjelectric.ca. Zuby. Hop on in, buddy. Let's do a few minutes of this quick, and then I got to get to bed.
Sure. I'm getting some intel here too. Jacob on the stream saying you can limit who can comment to subscribers only. Maybe we won't make that change immediately, but that might be something to think about.
Do we want to do that? I feel like that'd be mean. I don't know. What do you think, Struds? Is that in the spirit of got your back? I feel like that kind of goes against our positive spirit of brotherhood and sisterhood, and
yeah, we're inclusive.
Maybe next year. All right. All right, let's get to this. Gabriella C. says, what did you make of the sequence at the end of the game between Bichelle and Perry? I'm guessing it's just Perry trying to send a message. Going into next game, there was some lip reader saying Perry challenged him. We'll do it next game. So do you think that would or could happen, and who would it benefit more, Struddy?
Yeah, I love it. I love that he gets in there and he's mixing it up. He's looking for, just to kind of get things going and just show them they're not going to roll over. Not that I think they would. And I think it's good for the Oilers. I think that's a healthy thing to have that kind of life and that kind of juice.
Yep. Full disclosure, I missed that portion because we're in a little bit of to get down from the press box to the press area. It's impossible to do it anyway. I didn't see it, but I heard about it online. So I'll defer to Struddy on that one.
Aaron St. Pierre pointing out Evander Kane has 6 minor penalties now, 5 are high sticking. Do you think there's a chat, a conversation, a reminder going on there, or is that just what you get with Evander Kane and you take the good with some of those things as well, Schauger?
Probably a little chat. I would say a little chat at some point. I mean, he knows, but needs to be mentioned. And I would assume Struds, the head coach, will not be shy in front of the group to make a very strong point of discipline needing to be better. And it'll also be heard in the locker room. I mean, Leon Draisaitl was pretty clear post-game the way he felt about it. And I guarantee he's saying that to the rest of the guys too.
Teammate to teammate, buddy. That's a teammate to teammate one. But we need you physical. We can't take those type of penalties.
Lauren the Alchemist says, break glass, bring in Ekholm. Now we know Pickard is not on the road, but Ekholm's there, right, Schauger?
Ekholm's here. Oh yeah.
He's in Dallas.
He took full part in morning skate today. Yeah, he looked good.
So what do you want to handicap this one for game 2?
No, not playing. That would be my hand. I mean, yeah, they told us he wouldn't be available for game 1 and 2. I know it's Ekholm and he's a beast, but I just don't think you defy the doctors. And I think bringing him back too quickly would be a critical mistake that they're not going to make. I think the game we will see him is if and when we are back here for game 5.
It would help on the PK. I'm telling you, people, that's where they need him. They need him for the PK. It's not the same without him. That's where I'd find him. I'd maybe find some, if he'd come back early, I'd get him out there in that PK. Settle it down.
What about 11 and 7? You have some ailing forwards. You bring Ekholm in, have limited 5-on-5 minutes and have him on the PK. Struddy, what do you think?
The problem is that if you sit there and it gets too cold between PK shifts, that's not healthy for it either. So you really got to be careful with that. But I'm telling you, they need him for the PK. I am adamant because that 3 in a row there, that is a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was just, pushing the buttons there a little bit. Canadian says, after Frederick fanned on that great chance set up by Klingberg, I'm ready to insert Jeff Skinner. Frederick played 8 minutes and 2 seconds. Of those, 2 minutes of those were when the game was 6-3. He didn't accomplish much. What did you think of Frederick's game? Do you think he's still ailing, and would you consider that in any way, Struds?
Yeah, that was a tough one. I mean, that's a point blank shot that he doesn't get all the wood on it for sure. I don't think he's the guy I'm taking out. I just don't see him as the one. I think that he has a better version of himself in there. But there also were a lot of penalties, in that third period. So, no, I'm leaving him in there. I like it. I like the idea of him right now.
I don't hate the idea. I don't hate the idea because part of the benefit of this team is they've got really good NHL players not playing every night. And it's killing them. It's just killing them. So you bring in Kasperi Kapanen, and he gets shot out of a cannon and makes a difference, right? Well, what do we know about Kapanen? He can do that for a game or two. Tough for him to put 5 or 6 good ones together, right? So Jeff Skinner, I mean, we all know his story in the playoffs and such. Struds, he gets one little taste of it, and boom, he's gone. You don't think he'll be shot out of a cannon when he gets his chance? So I understand why people are thinking it might be a good idea. Frederick's important, and he needs to do better with those chances, and I'm not sure it's time to pull him, but I completely get that instinct, Struds. Go to the bullpen a little bit. You got some guys that are fresh and eager.
So the thing that gave the Oilers success last round was size, speed, and some scoring on every line. Where does Skinner slip in and keep that mix going?
Yeah, fair point. Fair point. Couple more, Zuby.
Okay. Simple 101 says, I was more panicked when they were down 1-0 against LA because they looked like dog poo-poo. Tonight, they dominated for 40 minutes. They bounced back from down 2-0 against LA, from a heartbreaking home loss against Vegas. What's your guys' sense? This is a different team and a different opponent, but what's your guys' sense after this one? Even though, I mean, clearly we agree it's an opportunity missed, but how has this loss changed your feeling about the series, if at all, Struddy?
This is the best team they faced in the playoffs, and you can't let someone off the mat. And I just worry that let's say it goes 7 and you lose in the 7th game. I know it's a long ways away, but I just worry that this is one that got away from them. Now, that being said, they win the next game. Now we're saying, well, they won 5 or 6 periods down to Dallas, and you're going back to Edmonton for an afternoon delight on Sunday.
Yeah, they'll dial in their penalties. They'll get smarter, and they'll apply the same formula at even strength. I would be stunned if we weren't heading back to Edmonton with this series at 1-1.
Yeah.
I just think their 5-on-5 game has been too good. Dallas's has been below average. And if they can just smarten up, then I think they'll find the formula. So I am not concerned in terms of thinking, oh boy, new team. Oh boy, they're bringing something big time different, and look out for the Oilers. I mean, figure out your penalty kill and be smarter. But 5-on-5, they were all over it tonight. Okay,
I got one more kind of serious question here, and then a couple of quick kind of funny ones. So, A. Cherniovsky says, shot counters seem much more stringent crediting shots this season. Often saves don't get credited as shots because they're deemed to be wide. Could this be overall why save percentage is down this season? I wanted to throw this in there because this is the first year I've ever noticed them putting a shot up on the shot clock, and then a minute or so later it comes off, or even 2 of them. And it does feel like they're like reviewing every shot now to even see if the angle was on the net, whereas it used to be if one went in a goalie's glove right by the post, that was it. That was a shot on goal, but they didn't review it to see if it was going to go outside the post. Do you think there's anything to this, Shogger?
Just hang on, Zuby. I just want you to give your opinion on this, because this is goalie nerd stuff. I could freaking care less. Could not care less. And I love you because of your passion. I don't even know if Struds and I need to say anything. Zuby, you take this one.
Well, the save percentage conversation, I mean, you're talking about elite level save percentages used to be 930s, right? And it's not really, and nobody's posting those anymore throughout a season. So I do wonder if there's part of it. I'll tell you, in beer league, man, do I keep a running total. They put shots up on the clock, and I know exactly how many they're off by. And what really bugs me is I'll get a flurry. I make like 3 saves. Maybe they put 1 up on the clock. So I do care.
Lauren the Alchemist chimes in and says it's because of gambling. And I have heard, hey, Struds, that they dial it in and actually go back and review after to make sure. So they're a little tighter on that stuff. So maybe that has something to do with it.
I was just going to say, because you can bet on shot totals, over-under shots. So they have to be very specific on what is and isn't a shot. And when they give it. So I think this is 100% related to that.
Gosh. Well, that's got to
There
go
you
then.
go.
All the other stuff, whatever, fine. But that's terrible. But I'm sure that's right. It makes
That's
perfect
your
sense.
one
But
nerd goalie question for the series. You
Okay.
get one more if the Oilers make the Stanley Cup final, buddy.
all right, okay, 2 quick funny ones. JP, or let's do this one first, because we could just breeze through this. Nurmark Sui says, "Is it okay for the reporters now to ask about the defense?" I noticed nobody went there tonight in the scrums, Shocker.
Well, because I mean, it's the penalty kill. My goodness, it's not about team defense; it's about the penalty kill. So yeah, that's a great point, though. And yeah, we'll see. Leon handled his media fine tonight. That had to be a frustrating night for him.
Fair. Okay, and this is the last one. This is kind of funny because I've been seeing this come up in social media and stuff like that. JB says, "Can you ask the guys what they think of Anson Carter getting crap for calling himself Ace on the TNT broadcast?" No, Struddy, you played with him 1 year in New York. Is that right?
No, I never played with him, but I
Okay.
did battle the blades with him. And
Okay.
I always wanted to ask him where he got the nickname Ace, and I didn't know the story. So I'm still not familiar with the story. But giving yourself a nickname is a tough one.
I was going to say, do you have a good exec too? I always think back to Seinfeld and Coco the monkey. But who do you know any other guys who tried to give maybe a story about someone who tried to give themselves a nickname and it exploded in their face?
No,
that's a no-no.
It is. I just think trying to get someone to call yourself or call you by a nickname you want is just, that's what nicknames are. So you have to earn the nickname, right? You have to get it. It has to fall into your lap.
By the way, when Stuart Skinner's scrum broke up tonight, he looked at me and said, "Thanks, Rishaug," again. But he did it kind of with a smirk on his face.
That's awesome.
And by the way, that would be common for Stu Skinner. He's not going to walk out of there pouting or down or anything. He came in there ready to go, was reasonably jovial, cracked a little joke at the end. He knows how to stay calm. So for anybody thinking that he shouldn't be joking around, no, and so I looked at him, I said, "Why don't we just go with Ryan?" And then he kind of laughed. I don't think he knew that was my name.
Love it.
That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by BJ Electric Supplies. And we wrap our show tonight, as always, with our play of the day. What does Struddy have in mind for this one tonight? Brought to you by Gallery Dental, offering a full range of services designed to keep your smile healthy. Their experienced team providing personalized care with the latest tech, making sure you get the best treatment you can possibly get anywhere. Contact Gallery Dental, YEG.com. People are asking why your hotel room's so dark, Struddy. Like no lights in that room?
No,
hiding something on the bed behind you. I always feel like it's weird when people do podcasts on video from hotels and they have their bed in the background. Unless it's perfectly made, your bed shouldn't be in the background of your shot. It's off-putting. I tried to frame mine mostly out.
It is perfectly made. I haven't moved. I haven't sat in it yet. It hasn't moved.
It looks like it's been trifled about and such. It looks like
I don't abuse my beds the way you do. I haven't even laid in it. The first time I touch it will be in about 10 minutes after I brush the dindies. Okay, play of the day. I'd heard rumors about this. They're going to do a similar kind of Michael Jordan-esque show called The Great Ones about the Edmonton Oilers. It's going to be, I believe, 5-part series with interviews from the stars of that time, and apparently they've got some incredible footage, unseen before footage they've been collecting. It'll be neat to see. So I love the Michael Jordan one, The Last Dance. This one will be about the great ones and kind of how they put it together, and some really neat stories and interviews with all the main characters, people they played against, coaches, all that stuff, even some wild cards. So I love this. Now it's Oilers, so obviously it sounds a little biased, but I love hearing these types of situations and these types of things in the past.
All right, love it. So Struddy, looking forward to something coming to a screen near you. That's our play of the day, brought to you by Gallery Dental. All right, fellas, nice show tonight. We had a great audience. We really appreciate everybody sticking in. Really strong numbers here. It's 12:30 where I am, so 11:30 back in Edmonton. We love our audience. Thanks so much for joining us. Like and subscribe if you get a chance. Bring a friend next time, and we will break down whatever is set to happen in game number 2 in a couple of days. We'll chat with you then from Dallas. Good night. See you, boys. Job, Zuby.
Thanks, pal. Good night, everybody.
See you guys.